What is up, ninjas? My name is Sam World and I make music production and sound design videos for dance music here on YouTube. Now in today's video, we're going to be learning how to make techno kicks and if I need any form of social proof, like who are you, Sam, to teach us how to make techno kicks? Sam Wolf has supported your boy with a hoodie. So hopefully that gives me all the social proof that I need. And finally, if you want to support my channel, make sure to head over to evilsounds.com. You can find all of my sound design work. I never pay for testimonials or for artists to use my work. So if you've seen people like Hardwell, Umek, Sam Wolf, Martin Karma, and Joy Hauser using it, they've been doing it out of their own will because they think they're great presets, hopefully. Now, a lot of you guys are probably going to be asking yourselves, why do I even want to know how to make my own kicks? And while I think it's fine if you utilize a sample, the point of learning how to make kicks is just having a bit of respect for your craft. But at the same time, knowing how kicks are made and how they can be made can make you a better producer because it's going to help you, one, know whether a kick is good or not. Two, know how to accentuate a kick, know how to push it, know how to take it to that level that you want it to be at. And finally, three, you're going to be able to make it your own. And I think that's going to be one of the most important things that you're going to get out of knowing how to make your own techno kicks. And of course, you're not going to be at the mercy of Splice. I've checked out their techno samples and they're all not that great. Now for this tutorial, I'm going to be using Operator because it's very easy for me to explain what is going on. Now the theory of creating kicks is usually you're going to start with a sine wave or a triangle wave, which is going to sound like this. Now we're going to play it with Operator at around C0 to C1 range, as this is where it's going to be at its power place, okay, where you're going to get the most low end. From there, creating kicks is simple. We're going to be doing a pitch envelope to the sound, and essentially what we're doing with this is we're going to have the pitch go really high up, and then from there you're going to decide by how much, and then really back down, which is going to create a sort of knock, which is going to be the transient of the kick. So in order to do this, we're going to go to the pitch envelope here in Operator, set it to 100%, and then from there we're going to mess around with the decay. Now notice when I turn it off, it sounds like a sub bass, but when I turn this on, there's a bit of a baby little knock there. Okay, so from here, what we have to do now is increase the peak. And notice that the higher I go, the more clickier it tends to sound. Now, this is going to be the first part where you can make this kick your own, because from here, you're going to be able to pick, oh, I really want like a psytrance click like Asterix, man. Or you could just to go a bit more, yeah, like I want a lower tone to the kick to get that little knock that Umek has in his tracks and whatnot. Whatever you decide, this is going to be one of the first places where you're going to, again, dictate a lot of where the kick goes. So from here, we can go wherever we please. So I'm going to choose there. I'm going to turn off the filter now. And you're going to see we have that. Now, the next thing I like to use is an oscilloscope. Now, you don't need to have one. I'm going to use it essentially to teach you how to make your own kicks again. So what we're going to use is this oscilloscope in order to see how this is going to look like. Now from here, I am going to pick the key of the kick. You could kind of say that. So I'm going to go with maybe an E, very low. I like usually lower bass kicks because they sound a lot grittier, while higher bass kicks are going to sound a little bit more friendlier, but what you're going to get with them is a little bit more low end for sure. That's not where we want to be. There we go. Okay, so as you can see, as I'm laying down the beat, okay, this is what we have. This is the dynamics of the kick. Okay, so as you can see right now, our kick looks like a damn sausage. It looks like a very big... So from there, we're going to play around with this decay knob now. Sustain down, so that way we can kind of decide the length of our kick. And for now, this is going to do because we're going to have opportunity to shape the kick further later on. But for now, this is going to be the kick that we have. Now, from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this kick. Now, one of the things you have to realize with techno kicks is that they're like any other kick out there. The only difference is that they're going to be either one, heavily saturated, heavily more layered in terms of what we're doing with the original kick, as well as more pitch envelope. So some kicks can get away with doing this, but in... again, these kind of genres like tech house and techno, we need a high pitch envelope in order to get that smack. From here, let's increase the drive. Okay, we're not going to be noobs. We are going to gain stage down. Again, I don't know why people do that. I understand Ableton has a high workflow, but it's a good habit, or sorry, a high ceiling, but it's a good habit to have in just treating everything in a clean manner. So usually I'm going to set my kicks to -6. It just comes from the mixing technique of anchoring the kick. That's all this means is you set the kick to -6, and then from there the whole mix revolves around it. Now there's a couple of things I do want to do. One, I want to make sure retrig is on this guy. And I want to make sure it's on here as well. From there, we're going to go one voice. Now the reason for retrig is, again, when you have a sine wave, you're going to have a phase. And if we go into this guy here, we can see the phase of pretty much the sound. And it's going to go up, down, up, down. So we always wanted to start at the same position, because if we start midway through this, you can debate that it might sound a bit different than if we start at the beginning. So with kicks, obviously you don't want the kick sounding different every hit. So we put the retrig on so that the phase always starts at the same position. It starts at the beginning. But I'm going to be pretty happy here. Now, if you notice, this kick really doesn't sound that good, and I'm not going to lie. There's probably ways to make this patch sound better in the patch here, but probably one of the coolest ways that you can make the kick just sound a lot better is by duplicating this guy and then making a new layer. Now, the reason we want to do this is because we also want the kick to stay in key. It's better to grab the same kick than to grab another kick and process it further. So what I'm going to do from here now is, of course, utilize an EQ, which we're going to get rid of lows. And then from there, you can choose to put it anywhere. Signal flow is very important. That just means the order that these plugins come in. As if I put this EQ, saturator is going to be hitting this. And this is going to dictate the saturation, the distortion that we're going to create with it versus this. So if I have this, you can see here. Now versus here. You can see that it's a totally different ball game there. So it's very important that you're paying attention to the signal flow of stuff. Just playing around with how far I can get away with this. I'm pushing it there. Maybe I'll hit it with a bit of overdrive. Again, what am I doing? Okay, again, just playing around with that. From here, you can dictate that you can play around with stuff, but I'm going to leave it as is. Okay, now from here, this is where it can get a little bit of fun, because from here, you can choose to say, F it, I'm going to use a different top layer. And again, I do recommend that a lot of the meatier parts of the kick, you utilize the same kick and like process it with Saturn, different stuff. You don't have to go with overdrive and saturator. You can go with third-party plugins if you have access to them. You get a lot more interesting results. But again, at the end of the day, this is the theory behind the creation of a kick. Okay, so from here in the top kick, what I'm going to do is, we'll go to a pack, Deceiver Volume 4. It's out. It's been out. Working on Paradox Volume 3, by the way. I don't know. We'll use this and just maybe make this be the top layer of this, right? Again, what's the worst that can happen? We have nothing to lose. Now, of course, we're not going to leave it like that. We are going to definitely, again, distort it. So, again, some people are going to say put that in key. I'm a little too lazy, but you know what? I'll listen to you guys. We're going to put it in the key. I believe we're going to be hitting E. We can add the overdrive. Now, again, I'm paying attention to the phase, the timing of this thing as well. I want it to hit at the beginning. I don't want it to hit ahead. I don't want it. Yeah, it's very important that we have this guy hit right with the kick, because we're creating, again, the transient of the kick with this guy. So again, just gonna there. Now we're going to put all the kicks into a group bus where we're going to pretty much be able to process them. Now, the last thing I'll probably do on this top kick, again, is going to be to do my homework and EQ out the frequencies we don't need for. And we're going to have that. From there, I am going to apply a bit of glue compression to have the sounds interacting together. Having them interact together is going to makes them feel more glued together. So again, we're just going to go here. Not bad, but again, it does sound a little lazy and loose. What I mean by that is the shape of it. Now, if we put the oscilloscope, again, on the kick to get the shape of it, you're going to notice that it's going to be a blob. And what I mean by a blob is the fact that we haven't shaped it yet. It's taking up the whole bar, okay? And you can see that this click is a little too loud than everything else. And again, that might be due to this little thing that we're doing. So let's clamp down on it. From there, let's try maybe like an overdrive. It might be a lot nicer because that way we can dictate the frequency that we're actually hitting with this guy. So we're going to go. From here, I am going to shape the kick utilizing an LFO tool. But a lot of the times, once we're here, I do recommend people to print their kick. All this means is bounce it down. One of the ways to do it is you can resample it. From there, just have it play, have the kick solo the group, and then just run it through again. Again, pick the best rendition, but make sure, again, that the phase is right. Sometimes you're going to see the kick is going to shift to the left or to the right a bit, and it's not going to land on beat. A lot of times you can also see this with some sample pack companies, including me, where I'll run plugins on the master, and then it will lead to like some of the kicks not landing on the beat when you guys use them. Again, I learned from my mistakes, but it's just something that does happen. From here, I can finally shape this sound to how I want. Okay, and then we can kind of go here. Okay. Now, once I have the kick printed, from here, one last thing I'm going to do is add compression. And again, the reason for that is just that, again, I feel that when we look at the dynamics of the kick, I'm not liking what I'm seeing. Again, we could have had a little bit more attack to it. And you can say, oh, I messed it up with the glue. And I think you're right. So what I'm going to do is just add a bit of compression with a high or slow attack in order to allow that to punch through a bit more. From here, maybe a low knee, as this is going to make it so that it hits harder, because a higher knee is going to make the compression gradually come in, while a lower knee or harder knee is going to make it slap and hit harder. Now I'm just getting the kick a little bit of reducement because I feel like it's too filled with frequency. So from there, I'm just kind of reducing a bit to see if it can pop out a little bit more. From here, let's create a bit of a rumble for it, so that way we can see how it's going to sound like. So to do this, we're going to use a utility, and from there, we're going to go with the audio effect rack. So that way we can create like essentially layers to the kick. From there, we're going to have a couple. We're going to have the chain, and we're going to have the reverb, and I'm going to create one more, which is going to be an extra bonus credit for you guys if you want to do it, and that is going to be the top kick destroyer, which I've been implementing in some of the racks of Paradox Volume 3. Okay, because we are going to be putting some kick racks in there, which are going to make kick sound very nasty. Now, I'll show you how this one works in a bit. So from here, we're going to have this one that's the normal kick. From there, our reverb kick. Now, what I've been doing personally is utilizing the hybrid reverb from Ableton, which is a combination of convolution and the normal reverb in order to do this. From there, I'm going to set the bass into mono that way, and from there, I can EQ as well here. This pretty much has everything you're going to need in order to get the low end to sound right. Okay, now I do need to, again, add a bit of sidechain to that. It's sounding like it's fighting. We're getting a bit, yeah. So we're going to add a reverb, and then we're going to kind of go here, add the sidechain from the same channel, which is going to be, I believe, channel number 13. And we're just going to go pre-effects. From here, we can really mess with this a lot. Like, again, it's a convolution reverb, which is going to have a lot of really interesting ones that we can use. Let's try the metal. Okay, from there, let's add a bit of an amp just to kind of distort this reverb so that we can kind of push it. Okay, so from there, I am going to maybe mess around with this a little more. Maybe we can do something better. Now, the way this top kick destroyer is going to work is, first off, we're going to pretty much run an EQ on this guy, and we're going to use a bandpass to target like pretty much where we feel we want, again, the kick to be at, like to add an extra to the kick. And then from there, we can go with an amp or anything we please. Let's try a blues drive maybe. And then let's layer it in. Maybe before. Now, once you have the kick printed and you got your reverb going and whatnot, you're going to start to notice as well that the kick sounds a bit dull. So you're going to have to put in a bit of work on the EQ to figure out how to get it to sound the way you want. Now, I'll give you a couple of examples why I did these decreasements here. Number one, the low end part, I did it because I was testing the kick with an Ozone 9 Master and it was clipping, distorting too fast, okay? And usually when something clips too fast is because there's too much low end in the mix. There's always an overwhelming amount. And I saw that the low end was really peaking on this kick. So if I take it off, it's going to sound like this. And now when we have it like that, and again, you hear the kick and you might get a bit of tunnel vision. So I always recommend you play it with drums, and you also hear other people's tracks. During this whole process, I am listening to a bit of different tracks here from the Techno Bunker Spotify playlist in order to keep me in check. You can choose to push your kick even further if that's what your desires are. From here, the last thing I'll do is I kind of want the kick to have a bit of a top end sort of reverb. So I am going to add it by utilizing any EQ. And again, I'm probably going to go with cutting some of the kick there. And I'm going to add a reverb. And I'll go with the hybrid just because I really do like what they provide in terms of the convolution and whatnot. So let's try. We're going to lower the decay. Just go like that. Oh my Lord, bombs. Again, we're just going to add to this guy here. And this is me like being a mad scientist, which I think is the point of sound design. Again, that's the cool thing about this. I guess, and that's going to be the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Making these kind of videos is a little tough just because there's a lot of technicality that goes into creating a kick that I can't add a bit of my funny skits in there because I'm just too in the zone trying to get this kick to work. But again, this is a theory in how you would go about in creating a kick. Again, you can take the easier route where you grab a sample and do something similar. And there is an In the Dojo episode with Sam Wolf on how he makes his kicks. And this is a route that he chooses to use. Now for this video, I wanted to use this route so that you understand how the kicks are created from nothing, so that you understand the concept of how it reaches to the desired result that you have, and how saturation, distortion, and EQ can help you get there, so that when you utilize kicks, you will make more educated decisions on what they need in order to get them to where they need to be. Other than that, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to hit like, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys next time for another video. Much love, take care, and peace out.